It is an absolute honor to share do this infinite stories with you lovely ladies today. It's very nice to finally get the one and only, the great Lorie DeLuca in here after much request and quite frankly begging. And great to have Kim back.
Yeah.
And an absolute honor to have Farnoosh here with us, who, as some people might know, was my ex-wife. And we remain very good close friends. And I have always had the highest level of respect for Farnoosh. Like, I cannot speak highly enough of you and your character, and you know that. And in no small reason, no part, I feel you deserve every bit of praise because of your initiatives with LEAD,
definitely.
Which is what we're here to talk about. So I know that everyone's probably sick of my voice as much as I am, so I'll stop right there and let you give a bit of a backstory of how you got started. So you work with a lot of extremely underprivileged children in Jamaica, and the organization that you have created and run is called LEAD. But let's go back to the beginning and give a bit of a backstory, please, as to how you got into this.
Thank you. Wow. It's
been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'd say about 17 years ago, I went back to school for early childhood education. And one of my professors, Lynn Caruso, was running an organization, a volunteer group that would take students to Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, for like after school programs in communities like Riverton in Kingston that is built around the landfill, a garbage landfill of the city. Underprivileged community, thousands of people, really just struggling to make ends meet. But there's a school in the community, and that was kind of our focus there. And we also worked with mustard seed communities. At the time, that's when I was introduced to them. Let me think, fast forward.
Okay, so let's not fast forward. So that's why I'm here. So Farnoosh started going down there, and the first trip that she went down with the school and Lynn, who's since passed on, Lynn sort of had a routine of taking students down there. And most times and most trips and most students, they would go down there one time and they felt pretty good about what they did, and that was pretty much a wrap. Farnoosh here, when she went down, instead of coming back feeling great and a kudos on a job done, she came back with, I'm not doing enough. And that she got hooked, and she did not actually go down there, and I've said this many times, she did not go back down there to help anybody. She went back down there because she loved those kids, and she loves them now. And so when she came back, she was adamant that she's going to go back again. And so she continued on with Lynn and some of her friends at the time in pushing students crossing borders at the time. And then eventually over as she said, the 17 years, which is hard to even acknowledge, it's been that long.
I can't believe it.
It's transitioned into, her involvements directly with the mustard seed communities, which is a community of orphanages down there, and her own organization, LEAD, which puts on great events, which we're going to talk about in a bit. And Lorie here, who's generally speaking not so quiet, but the cameras are on.
Cameras are on.
Has been down there
many times.
And she's a big part of LEAD and on the board, and has been a part of a lot of these initiatives. So hopefully you'll sort of speak to it as well. But myself and Ahmad and his kids, and we've all gone down there at times, and we've seen the amazing work that's done, and these beautiful children who get to sort of benefit from the love and attention and the education that Farnoosh and many others provide. So let's not fast forward too much, but there's no specific format either. So why don't you take us back to about how things started to ramp up for you with this?
Yeah, so I think it was about from 2014 and up. Lynn passed away in 2012, and in 2014, I mean, we still kept going down there twice a year. And
this was something that Lynn really wanted you to take over, right?
I mean, so it was just something that I knew I couldn't stop doing.
Exactly.
Lorie.
The passion. Oh,
sorry.
The passion that Farnoosh brings. Like, of course, Lynn was very adamant on making sure that Farnoosh carries this on.
I mean, yeah, not just me, just the idea of her vision I wanted to carry on.
That's right.
And then it became very quickly my own because it just the love that I had for the kids.
But she had spoken directly to you, Rima and Caitlin, and there was a bit of a challenge, you guys all being so young to take it over.
Definitely.
That's true.
But your circumstances allowed, and you also just not just circumstances, you absolutely loved it, but it was also a situation where you were able to sort of keep at it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that from then on, I just continued the programs that we had at both sites, Riverton and Mustard Seed. And then one of the programs that we had was we did a youth leadership conference, which was started as a 1-day and then 2-day conference with underprivileged youth from many different communities around Kingston, and it was called Leadership Empowerment Action Development.
Oh,
it was a different logo, different idea, but that's where it started from.
That's right.
And it was, her vision.
So this is where Feridun puts the lead logo. Leadership, empowerment.
There's the website down below.
Exactly.
So that, I mean, when I wanted to incorporate the organization to be able to move forward and fight for things, and so lead was something that I really wanted to continue with on as the name, and then Outreach Initiative was the official name, so Lead Outreach Initiative. So when that started, we continued in 2014. We actually turned the leadership program, the resource book that Ali has, into a 5-day camp, 5-day retreat. And 2 days of it is the leaders training. So our whole idea of train the trainer approach. So that has kind of been the biggest part of our program. And the kids from Mustard Seed, a lot of the teens living with HIV, also are a big part of our program. So I've just tried to incorporate everybody and everything under one umbrella.
So there's a lot of big things that are said easily here, or 5-day camp.
It's not
no
like
biggie. So
No big deal.
first, just for me to set the stage a little, when Farnoosh was going down initially, it was going to Riverton, work with these underprivileged children that lived in that community. And again, she loved the kids, she loved being there, and then slowly she got involved with the Mustard Seed Communities, which was an orphanage that works with these children that are also HIV positive and have various degrees of challenges that they deal with beyond being orphans. Severe disabilities, various forms of challenges they deal with. And there's a number of houses that sort of fall under that umbrella that Farnoosh works with. So there's younger children, there's slightly older, there's the boys' houses and whatnot, and so.
No, I was just going to elaborate on that a little bit. So Mustard Seed Community started about 43 years ago by Monsignor Gregory Ramkasoon, and he started it in Kingston, and now there's 12 homes in Kingston that care from children, from babies. We have an 8-month-old now, from 8 months anywhere like that are placed in our care, all the way up to adults that have nowhere to go. So the most vulnerable of society. And then they also have homes in Zimbabwe, Malawi, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua. So that's like that organization, Monsignor, is my inspiration.
Well, you're an inspiration to many, including us.
For sure.
But when Farnoosh runs, like when she just casually says, "Yeah, we do a
Yeah, it
5-day
doesn't.
camp,"
It's not
so
at
what
all.
she's failing to say is that she quite literally goes days on end without
Yes.
any proper
Yes.
sleep,
Yeah.
any proper food. She goes into the mountains and finds a great spot for the kids to be able to go to. This resource
The
book,
yeah.
honestly, I was reading this earlier today, and I cannot say enough good things about this. This started as a 15-page document. Now it's nearly 90 pages. And truly
And
every
adding.
single
Yeah.
word in here has been thoughtful. And there's just so many parts of this that I thought I would even just want to sit and read. They're so powerful. But you have to think about the children that are going to these camps. These children, many of them have not had the same kind of privileges that most of the kids that we know
Right.
have. And they are getting a lot of love and attention, and they're getting a lot of, encouragement. And this is building a foundation that they don't have. Like, there's an enormous amount of emphasis built based on your self-esteem, your sense of self-worth, how do you carry yourself, the way you act as a leader, and the way you act as in society and on a team, and the way you sort of deal with your emotions and conflict and whatnot. And this was so amazing as I was reading it that, what did I say? I said, like, I want everyone at Infinite
Yeah,
to
to
read
read
this.
the book.
Like,
Yeah,
this is
that's right. He did say
so
that.
good. Like, I was highlighting things and I was taking
Yeah.
notes. And anyways,
Have an infinite camp.
Yeah, we should have an
We'll
infinite
circulate
camp.
some
That's
copies.
right,
Get everyone
that's right.
ready.
Get everybody.
I can tell you, I would benefit from going through this.
Thank you.
It is truly fantastic work. And anyone, and I know a lot of people over the years who've come down to see you in action and the work that you've done, and every one of them has been touched and they've been inspired. And I go back to a story that Ahmad was sharing with me when he came down there, and he couldn't believe the amount of work that you do in a day.
It's
And
true.
the number
It's
of
true.
places.
It's true.
And I've been fortunate that, like, I've typically been in a bit of a leadership role for a lot of times, and I'm sort of, and when I go down to Jamaica, I am the child in the back seat.
Why not? That's me. That's exactly me. Just
Yeah, I think
getting
the first
told
time
what
I
to
went
do.
down
Yeah.
there, she gave me like $20 of the local currency. She's like, "Yeah, you keep that in your pocket, nothing else." I'm just sitting in the back, and I'm like,
She's upped it now. It's $50.
Yeah.
You got it in the
Okay.
back now. You keep
I didn't
this
even
with
need
you.
to spend it till the day.
Me neither.
Yeah,
Until I get to
but,
the airport.
but
No,
so,
she starts at like 6 a.m. So I go down there and I'm like, okay, you know what?
No vacation
It's
time for you.
vacation time. I am gonna help out. I could hopefully get a couple of days in. And as soon as I kid you not,
She didn't even go home.
I didn't. The moment she picked me up from the airport, we went straight to one of the
bad.
homes. No, it was perfect.
No,
It was.
it's
It's amazing, but it was non-stop, and the work that Farnoosh does is incredible. Like truly, truly incredible. And you have to see it to understand it.
there's some stories that I've told some people that I was witness to with her connecting to these kids that are truly stuff of movies. Like, I mean, I don't want to be overly dramatic about this, but I'm just stating facts here. They're stuff of movies. The way these kids are able to connect with her,
Yeah.
and she's able to
Yeah.
connect with them. And was an incident of this kid who's severely compromised and would refuse to eat unless by a very specific nurse. And then Farnoosh goes in typical Farnoosh fashion. She's like, "Can I feed them?" And I'm like, "Oh my God! Like, why can't you just leave it be? You know?"
Yeah.
And no, let me. And you know, I'm ashamed to say, but like, I don't really know what to do in that situation.
Right.
The kid gets mad. He's throwing stuff. He's yelling. He's spitting, and you're like,
Like,
"Oh,
what do you do?"
I'm going to force this. All right. Well, you want your nurse? Fine. No.
She gets into it.
So she's like, "Let me try." And even the nurses there, they're like, "No." And this is many years ago, so they didn't know that they can't say no to Farnoosh. I say no, and then she just sits there with this kid, and you know, she just starts talking, and slowly brushing his hand, and just he starts to calm down, and before I know it, she's fed him his meal, and I'm like, oh, and you know, you might think about that and not really like take much away from it, but for me being there, it was incredibly moving. And there's some really heartbreaking stories as well, but are truly beautiful. There was I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but like there was a kid who was extremely ill, and he was his days were very numbered. It was evident, and we were down there.
Wow, in like 5 days he saw so much.
Yeah, he did.
And we went into his hospital room, and he's even though there was. It was first of all out of one of these videos you see online of these children that are just completely like bones, and his eyes lit up as much as they could when they saw Farnoosh, and his eyes were completely glazed over, and like, who is this guy now walking in with him? And I kind of really felt out of place because I wanted them to have their moment. It was a very, very young boy, and Farnoosh had brought in this notebook and a pen, and it was this pretty notebook and pretty pen. And I'm like, why did you bring this in here? But this kid can't even lift his head to look at you. What do you think he's So anyways, she sat there with him, talking to him, showing him a lot of love and respect and just attention, and we left, and she left the notebook and the pen. And the next evening we went back, and to my complete shock, the kid had written a whole page.
Wow.
And the content of this, in my whole life, I've never cried like this before. Like when I read this thing, and I didn't want to cry in front of the kid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right.
But it was surreal. Like, it's really out of a movie. Like, I couldn't believe. And basically the gist of it was, he had written that, like, I know my time is up. But the love that I got from you in these last few days made the whole thing worthwhile. I mean, it was a trip, man. Like, it's not a far cry from the day-to-day of investment management technology.
Really.
It was the real of all reals. It was every bit of purest form of truth and honesty and love you could experience in this world. And as much as it was extremely painful, it was extremely beautiful. And her life, which I should say, I mean, Farnoosh has had to deal with a lot of health issues herself, which tremendous amount of pain. And she's always been able to put that pain in behind
Aside, yeah.
and move forward and focus on these kids, which makes it even more admirable. But kudos to you, truly.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what makes
phenomenal.
it so inspiring to keep going, right? Like, I've been going 2 or 3 times a year, and
You're a glutton for punishment.
She's
you know what? I
awesome.
keep doing.
She's
I do keep doing that.
She's beside me through all of it. She's like, all right, we're doing this.
do
Okay,
you know,
yep,
well,
6 a.m. What time are we going to wake up tomorrow? 5?
Well, also,
I
I've
have
praised
this-
Farnoosh so much.
I have a schedule planned out.
Yeah. it's not easy
Yeah.
to work with this lady.
No, it is not.
And it takes a very
Exactly, it
special
takes a very-
person
It's
here,
very true. Very
the
true.
great
very
Lorie
true.
DeLuca,
Yeah.
to break
I
through.
manage her day,
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Yeah.
in those 2 weeks, it's great for her because
Yeah.
she has it. As long as she tells me what time we're starting.
I've got
Boom,
my
boom,
sidekick
boom.
for
Yeah.
those 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Awesome.
We try and do what we can to support Farnoosh and
Yeah.
her
Tremendously,
projects,
you
and
guys
it
are-
is an absolute privilege, and it makes this whole business worthwhile, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
to have moments like that. But in September, we're going to hold. We had an event last year. There was a bit of a difficult time during the pandemic to sort of travel to also hold events and whatnot. But last year, fortunately, we had an event that many people were kind enough to show up to and attend, and we talked about some of the projects that these guys are working with. In September, also, we're hosting an event which is sort of invitational, and we'll extend the invite to some of our team and friends. And if anyone's really interested, by all means, reach out to us. We'd love to have you.
Definitely.
But at the event in September, I believe September 13th, if
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken,
September 13th.
which will be here at the First Canadian Place, and we'll have the Monsignor as well, and we're going to talk about some of the initiatives and some of the projects that these guys are working on, and we'll give a bit more insight into the needs and the challenges, which are, quite frankly, no
Yeah.
pun intended, infinite.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to join, love to have you, and there's no obligation, and we're not looking for anyone to do anything, but just for you to be informed of what's going on. And I was very glad to see some of the younger members of our team
Yeah.
quick to jump in and want to be a
Definitely.
part and learn more. And also for people who want to go down to Jamaica, whether themselves or bring their kids to sort of see the certain realities of this world, and do something very meaningful and inspiring. Again, reach out to us. I volunteer the great
Yeah, I'll do it.
DeLuca. And if we can help and support you guys in going down there, we will. I am myself and Samantha are hoping to get down to Jamaica finally this year late in August. But it is an absolutely beautiful and meaningful sort of path you've chosen, and you inspire many, including me. And thank you very much for jumping on here for a few minutes. Hopefully, we'll get to do more of these and talk about specific projects. But I'm sure the very talented Feridun will link up the websites, and hopefully we'll get some folks who are interested in September and get to learn a bit more. But love to hear anything more you want to sort of add, or
Well, we may have a special guest in September, aside from Monsignor Chemo, who is...
yes.
Yes, I'm so excited.
We're working on getting him his passport and visa to be able to come.
Who's Chemo?
So, Chemo Birthright. He is, for the lack of a better word, my son. I met him the very first time I went down. He's one of the residents at Mustard Seed. And he, at 14 years old, he developed a brittle bone, metabolic bone disease condition, and his bones broke, and he's now in a wheelchair. So he has had a very rough journey. When I met him, he was kind of at his lowest of lows, and we've been on this journey through my health stuff and his, and we've just kind of been there to push each other through. And I'm just so proud of him. I don't even have any words to say more than that, but hopefully he'll come and you guys can meet him.
He is one of the most beautiful souls, and he's got a smile to match. And
100%.
if he can join us, it will be a phenomenal experience. He used to put up these really great videos on his Instagram, which I've bugged him 1,000 times to continue doing, but every single time he put up one of those videos, he motivated me and inspired me, and I really hope that we can get him out here.
So
doing
that
everything I can.
those videos that he started on Instagram actually started from, he was like quiet. He wouldn't talk. Whenever he came to camp, he was just like in his own space. One of the workshops that we do at camp is called, if you had 5 minutes to address the world, what would you say? And it's as a means of like working on public speaking, being more confident, you know, getting your message across. And he decided, this was about 4 or 5 years ago, he decided he asked me if he could share his journey about where he came from. He's living with HIV. He was, you know, living in a home. So he started that, and kid you not, 70 kids that were surrounding him. Every single person was in tears and like bawling their eyes out. And from that moment, he realized, because before that, he was like, I don't have a purpose. I don't know what I can do. And from then on, that's been his mission. So he's slowly working on that, going through the ups and downs still. But that's kind of where those videos that you're talking about on Instagram, his motivational minute.
He's incredible.
It's very cute.
He is incredible.
Yeah.
No, he's hopefully we'll get a chance
And
to.
thanks to you for being his mentor. Like
Oh,
you
come
literally
on, I mean,
mentored him from
No,
day one.
I've never ever done anything enough, and I love him, and he's absolutely special. And every single time he puts anything out there for me, it serves as fuel and inspiration. And hopefully he'll get to be here with us in September. If not, I look forward to seeing him in August. But hopefully, even if for whatever reason, unfortunately, he can't be here in September, we can do some video conferences and get him brought in, because
For sure.
he is a very, very motivational speaker. And then to see the strength in him with all the challenges that he's had to face is absolutely
Surgeries
incredible.
upon surgeries and everything.
I was just going to say surgery upon surgery.
Well,
I'm looking
hopefully
forward to it.
we'll be able to pick this up more again and do more of these. But thank you very much for joining.
I have no words like to how to thank you guys.
This is
honestly,
where you cut
because
Feridun. This is
Infinite
where
has no. Like you guys have been. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without you guys. Like every single program, everything from day one, like the support has. I couldn't have done it without you. Like physically and like every which way. So you guys are a part of LEAD. Like it's not me.
I mean, I haven't been down to Jamaica. I'm
should.
fairly new to the team. But it
You're
sounds
going.
like LEAD also couldn't have done this without you as the person who started. So
of course, it's all
I
about
couldn't
Farnoosh.
have done it without Lynn. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
everyone
it's
has a
Right.
But I would
So-
say you're a bigger part of the equation than the rest of us. But it's been a privilege to be a part of it. Thank you very,
Thank
very,
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.